Hi, I wanted to share with you ways that I connect with nature. I've been asked some questions recently by people that are curious about my experience with nature and how I connect with nature and what that means. And I think to make it really simple is just having this idea, this mindset that I am nature. Obviously not my spirit or my soul or those other parts of me, but me being here in this body and this body is being a part of nature, is just kind of knowing that that's one idea I think is very important to, as a first step to connecting with nature, is knowing that me as a human in this body isn't separate from the rest of nature. So that's the kind of the first thing I would consider. And then another thing I just wanted to mention before I kind of show you or explain to you how I make that connection is it doesn't matter if you're in the country, on some beautiful beach, or if you're in the city. There still will always be nature around you that you can find. And I used to do this when I lived in the city. I used to go to just a little tiny park down the street where people would, play chess and kids would run around. Just this little tiny park, and it had these beautiful, beautiful trees, and I would just go and sit with the trees. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can always make that connection. I think it's important these days, specifically when there appears to be so much chaos happening in the world. It can be a way for you to bring yourself back to balance and to center yourself, and that's what nature does naturally, because that's the grounding force of our environment. Helps us to become more stable, and to helps our nervous system become quieter and not so stimulated. Okay, so the first thing I just wanted to suggest would be this allowing your senses to become alive. So it doesn't matter where you are, just where I am right now. I'm sitting on grass, I can feel the grass. I'm making this connection with the grass. There's just a slight breeze right now. I'm noticing the light, how the light's coming through this tree. There's this beautiful tree right next to me with these little pink flowers. So I'm visually noticing what's happening around me, the clouds, the wind moving the palm fronds, as well as parts of the grass, which is a little bit overgrown right now. I see these little tiny butterflies all around the grass. They're so beautiful, little tiny ones. My cats actually try to hop on them, but they can't get them. And then, and I realize that not everybody can see, so that's something to consider as well. Turning on your other senses. If you don't have your sight, if you don't have your hearing, there's always some sense. That's my guess that you have, whether that's feeling the grass below you, or smelling the flowers, or smelling the rain as it just first hits the ground. So it's really turning your senses, tuning your senses, coming into your body, grounding within your body, so you can become aware of the senses that you already have, that you just naturally have. If you don't have all of your senses, use the ones that you do have. So that connection is beautiful. That's a first way to just kind of, not even so much acknowledge, but just kind of tune into your environment and nature. The other part of it, which is, not everybody likes to meditate, but maybe there's a lot of connotations around that word meditation. Maybe it's just about this idea of you being in a peaceful place, going somewhere in nature in a peaceful place, and also finding the peace within your own heart. And this peace, when you're in a place where there's no distractions in the mind, where your mind isn't carrying you, what you're going to do tomorrow, or what that person said to you, or all of the things that we could worry about, if we could just have an intention to move into a quieter place within ourselves. So those other parts of life don't have to take the forefront. In fact, the silence can take the forefront into our life. And when I mean that specifically, it has a lot to do with what happens in the frontal lobes of the brain, which are our greater connection to source and to everything. So when we can move into that greater peace, and there are different ways you can do that. You can just focus on your breath or focus on the center of your chest, here in your heart. And when you do that, there is no past, and you can only be present with your environment, with your surroundings. So this idea of becoming quiet doesn't necessarily have to do with meditation, but it can. And then the next step after that is just becoming open to listen. Listening is a skill, and it's not just with people, but it's with nature as well. So the listening comes from a place of silence. So if we can move into a place of not thinking about the past or the future, we can just be present right now, right here. I'm present to the wind blowing my face, to this little leaf that just fell from the tree, this beautiful pink blossom tree. I think this is an important piece, the listening, because we're not really taught how to listen in this culture. And when we listen, we actually connect with whatever it is, whether it's another person, and we can begin to feel that other person, whether it's a tree or the sun. We can begin to feel that, the wind. So listening is a huge aspect to making a grounded connection with nature. So after you feel like you're in this place, just have this intention of having open ears so you can listen to what nature says. And nature, and I'm just using this as a very broad term, basically our environment, anything that's in our environment that's natural, above the natural world, will begin to communicate with us when we listen. And it might take some time, but this is my experience, and I hope it can be yours as well. The other thing that's I think really important is praising nature. And this has to do with acknowledging what's around you. I acknowledge this tree, and you don't have to praise it, like, oh, praise you, tree. But it's the acknowledgement is, wow, you're beautiful. You're looking at this tree and you're telling it that it's beautiful. You're looking at the little butterflies and you're telling them that they're beautiful, and you're thanking them. And I'm not trying to sound hippy dippy, new agey when I say this. This is our design as humans, to be connected with our environment and to be able to live in our environment in a harmonious and a joyful way. So nature will reflect back to us the joy that we're waiting to receive in the world. And I believe when we begin to acknowledge it, like, oh, hello, dragonfly, or hello, tree, this is also a way for nature to begin to acknowledge us back and begin to communicate with us back. And we can build a relationship with our natural environment in that way. So think of nature as a beautiful child that wants our love. Think of nature saying, if you love me, I will take care of you. So nature already does take care of us with the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink, and so many other amazing ways that I can't seem to think of right now. If you love me, I will take care of you. This is what nature is saying. So love nature, and nature will love you back. It's like that old saying, love life and life will love you back. And this really goes with anything. So I hope these recommendations of connecting with nature help you. These are things that I do regularly, and I have learned to do, and I've taught myself how to do, and also what nature has taught me to do, and how nature speaks with me basically is going into this quiet place, listening to what it has to say, connecting my sensations to it, making a greater connection with my body and my sensations to nature, and praising it and acknowledging it as a beautiful part of this world. Okay. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Ahui ho, it's beautiful here today. I might just go to the beach. Okay, take care. Bye.